The big chop. So many of us do it. My big chop was for different reasons, and if I can grow my hair back with cutting my hair an inch every single month dealing with HS, you can definitely do it. So in this video we are going to talk about one of the few protective styles that I do whenever I want to hibernate my hair. Before we get started, make sure you go ahead and subscribe here to my channel and then click on that bell notification so you're notified every single time I post another video. First, I'm starting off using OLAPLEX Zero. At this point, I have taken a weave out that's been in my head for about 3 weeks, and now I am giving myself an OLAPLEX Zero treatment. All right, I'm going to put OLAPLEX Zero all over my hair. Now, I am moving this. Obviously, I've edited the video, but you're not going to be like rough with your hair. But after you spray it in, you just want to make sure you're working this product in. Now, I do heat train my hair, right? So that's why it's not like super curly. I don't want it that way. Now I'm following up with OLAPLEX number 3. I want you to pay attention to how I don't take the product and rub it into my scalp. I try to keep product at least a half a centimeter away from the roots, because my hair is going to swell and the product is going to get closer to my roots, and it will cover the hair shaft on its own. Curly hair swells when it is wet, and as it swells, it will move the product up the hair shaft. That's why you just have to make sure you put it on in a way that allows it to saturate. That's why you'll see me running my fingers through it. All right, so that is what I'm doing. And initially the first set of OLAPLEX Zero sits for 10 minutes, and then after that you don't rinse it out, but you apply OLAPLEX 3 and then let that sit for 10 minutes. At this point, I've shampooed my hair. Remember that at this day in particular, I shampoo my hair over the bathtub, so we're waiting for gravity to hit my hair again, and you can see it as I go ahead and put in OLAPLEX number 8, which is the moisturizing conditioning mask. I'm gonna put this in my hair, and then I let this sit for about 15 minutes. I didn't cover it this time just because I didn't need to, and then after that I'm gonna I'm going to rinse my hair out or whatever with cold water. But remember, 30% off with code IAMSendal _ IAMSendal _ do not forget those underscores. All right, now I'm going in with this OLAPLEX blowout spray, which I absolutely love. Okay, which I love. Now I'm using a paddle brush. The question that I get a lot is why I'm not using a paddle brush. When you guys saw me on social media or initially using a round brush, that's when I'm using it on my clients. And on days that I do straighten my hair and I want it to be like bone straight and I want it to last, then I use a round brush. But using a round brush is on the difficult side, and it's harder to do it on your own head than it is to do it on another person. So I do want you guys to think about that. The angles that I use as a professional cosmetologist on somebody else's head and the angles that I use on my head are two completely different things, right? So yeah, this is a really simple blowout. That's why I'm not doing the whole entire thing. But to blow out, that is all I use. Just the OLAPLEX blowout spray. Remember, you do not need to oversaturate your hair with product. When you are using a bond reconstructive treatment or a bond treatment, the more product you use, the more likely you are to not like the results of your hair, because you are weighing the hair down. A little bit goes a very long way. So I always do bond reconstructive treatments after I take a weave out and before I put a new one in, because it is imperative that the bonds of my hair shaft are really strong, as they will be up under an install for a couple of weeks. I'm not saying that you're wrong for keeping your weaves in for months at a time, but it's just not my thing. I just can't do it. Like, I just can't do it, guys. Okay, so I'll let you know really soon where we are in the time frame. I'm really bad with days of the week and what day of the week I put this weave in. But again, I went ahead and waited overnight before I just went ahead and put the weave in. It's not the same day, even though it may look like it. I went to sleep, waited, and then I braided my hair next day. or 2 days later. I'm not really sure. I just know it wasn't the same day. But at this point, now I'm just going in and I want to make sure that the parts that I have any type of damage in whatsoever are not braided up. Not that the braids are necessarily going to hurt it, but if my follicle is already under stress in any way, shape, or form, if there's any type of inflammation with HS in those areas, I'm not going to braid it up because it's just going to cause more tension, more inflammation, triggering more stress. And the reason that it'll cause more stress is when you braid your hair, especially if you're tender-headed, when you braid your hair and it hurts, any type of pain, any discomfort sends a stress signal to the hair follicle. And when you have pain in your scalp, whenever you have a weave or extensions in, that slows down the hair growth cycle, because the telogen phase of the hair growth cycle is the phase of the hair growth cycle where your hair stops growing, right? It's just in that phase, and your hair shaft, only about 10% of your hair's follicles are supposed to be at this point, at one time. But if your braids are extremely tight, I know it may look like this braid is tight, but I promise you it is not. Like, if your braids are extremely tight, what you'll do, you'll trigger your telogen phase of your hair growth cycle, and it'll make your hair grow a little slower. So the tighter your braids are, the more likely you are to have breakage, and the more likely you are to slow down the hair growth cycle, right? So this is why I make sure that when I braid my hair, I make sure I do it in a way where it's not adding any tension to sensitive areas, right? And the areas that I normally get outbreaks when it comes to HS is on the parts where you see that I've left out. Even where my part is on the side, I'm doing my part back further because I don't want the inflamed spot on my scalp, or even though it's not inflamed right now, if it does get inflamed, like let's say I decide to eat a double cheeseburger or something, you know what I'm saying, then that's a spot that will get inflamed. So I like to make sure that no matter what, those areas are always able for me to get to. I never want those inflamed areas to be covered with anything. All right, so that's about it. At this point, I have just braided my hair down. I'm not going to show the whole entire sewing just because I know that some people don't be here for that. And yes, the background is dusty and whatever, okay? But I'm not sharing the whole sewing, you guys, because I know maybe y'all don't want to see the sewing video, and it takes a lot to film it, so I didn't film it. But if you guys want to see the full video of my next sew-in, then let me know, because I've decided to hibernate my hair for the winter. You know, I have a whole lot of projects going on, and it's just going to work better for me if my hair is up and out of the way. As you can see, the part that I left out, that was the portion of my hair that had the outbreak from HS, and those shorter pieces are all pieces where it was bald before. So that is all brand new hair. That is why I want this hair to be out and not exposed to the elements. Yes. So now at this point, I am just putting some OLAPLEX number 6 in my hair. I don't know where the clip went, but I just got a dime size amount and emulsified it in my hand. And then after that, I went ahead and just put it on my leave out, and then the remaining product throughout the rest of my hair shaft. And what that did, it made it so it was super easy and super simplistic for me to get this blowout. I really like this texture of hair. This is not a sponsored video, by the way, for this hair, but I really prefer this texture whenever I do a sew-in, just because I sweat in my sleep. I'm not going to be getting up trying to blend my natural hair to the extension hair all the time. And like I used to tell my clients all the time, that's how you get heat damage. And I'm not saying that's how the texture of your curls change, because that's not a big deal for me. But when it comes to your hair being damaged and actually having heat damage, is because you're overly heat styling your hair, because you're always trying to match the texture of your hair to the texture of the extensions. But I love this one because once I blow dry it this one time, I'm good. And even if I wake up in the morning and it reverted back for me, all I have to do is grab the round brush and the blow dryer again, not a flat iron and heat protected every single time. And that makes a really big difference. So I really want you guys to think about that. That's pretty much it. At this point, I am so freaking tired, you guys. And the last clip of this is probably at like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. But I really wanted to come and show you guys this. Really soon I'll have a full-fledged video on you guys learning how to like schedule out the styles that you wear, because there's a method to the madness. But if you're a part of the 7-day challenge, you already know.
I know it's probably annoying with me holding the camera, but I do not feel like setting up my tripod. But this is how it looks like calm down and stuff. I feel like I be making myself look bald because instead of combing my edges down this way, I do them up away from my face, like out of habit when I tie my hair up. But this is where it would be like a little, if I put edge control on, where the little swoop and stuff would be. But I just love this. And like I said, this is just with my hair blown out. Like, I haven't had to. This is just with my hair blown out. Like, I haven't had to do nothing extra to it. That's why I like hair like this. To sweat in my sleep, but when I get up, it's not gonna be a difference.